It's not all glory supporting Arsenal, and on this day in 2011 we lost 8-2 at Manchester United. In this video I look back on that game. Hello and welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. In this video I just really wanted to look back on this day in 2011, which of course proved to be the infamous game at Old Trafford, of course where we lost 8-2. But just before I get into all that, I just want to make sure that you're all subscribing to the channel. If you're enjoying the content that I'm doing, please click on the subscribe button. Also as well with the bell notification so you get notified every time I release a new video. And if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, even though I know the subject matter isn't necessarily that great for us as Arsenal fans, but I'm sure there'll be a few Man United fans that might enjoy it. So going back to obviously this day in 2011, we travelled up to Old Trafford. It was the third match of the season, and we hadn't actually scored in our first two. We'd drawn 0-0 up at Newcastle, and then we'd lost 2-0 at home to Liverpool, and actually we'd had a player sent off in both those two games. But worse than that, we'd actually lost two of our best players, Cesc Fabregas and Sami Nasri, had both left, and we were in a bit of a mess. And going into this game as well, we did have a few injury problems in defence. Our normal right back Bakary Sagna and centre back Thomas Vermaelen were both out, so it led to us playing a very inexperienced defence actually. So the team that started the game at Old Trafford, actually wearing this blue top, I thought I'd wear it just to commemorate the occasion, although perhaps it should have been black, would have maybe been more appropriate. So the team that started for us was Wojciech Szczesny in goal. He was the number one goalkeeper at the time, not really an issue there. But the back four was very inexperienced. At right back was Carl Jenkinson. I think that was his debut for the club actually. We just bought him from Charlton. So that just showed where we were perhaps at that time. The centre back pairing was Johan Giroud and Laurent Koscielny, and then at left back was Traoré, a young lad who again didn't really make much of an impact at Arsenal, probably not helped by this particular game. Other than that though, the rest of the team was reasonably strong. In the midfield, it was Aaron Ramsey, Francis Coquelin and Thomas Rosicky, which is not a bad midfield, is it, if we're honest. And then the front three were decent as well: Theo Walcott, Robin van Persie and Andre Arshavin. So it wasn't a bad midfield and attack, it's just defensively, that's obviously where the problems were. Now, what you've got to remember is that this Manchester United side, it wasn't one of the great Man United sides. They were of course the league champions, but this was towards the end of Alex Ferguson's time, and the team wasn't great. I mean, the Man United team that started that game, I'll just quickly run through it because it'll give you an idea of, you know, the fact that this wasn't a very one of the great sides. In goal was David De Gea. I think this was his first season now. He was still a young goalkeeper at that point. I mean, their back four probably wasn't actually that much better than ours when you look at it. It was Smalling, Jones, Evans and Evra. So their defence wasn't that great either, was it? Let's be honest. Their midfield actually was probably weaker than ours on paper, certainly. They had Nani on the right, Tom Cleverley in the centre with Anderson, and Ashley Young on the left, and then up front Wayne Rooney and Danny Welbeck. So you know, apart from the two defences actually both look weak. So going into the game, you maybe expected there would be some goals, although I'm sure we wasn't expecting to be as many going in our net as ended up being the case. It started off actually, it was a typical kind of game away at Old Trafford for us. You know, United came at us early on, and it was a matter of us trying to settle into the game. Now, we did go behind after 22 minutes. It was a bit of a sloppy goal to concede actually. Anderson chipped the ball into the penalty area, and somehow Welbeck managed to outmuscle Giroud and get a header in from close range and put United 1-0 up. But that wasn't so bad when 5 minutes later we had a great chance to draw level. Theo Walcott was clipped in the box by Johnny Evans. We got a penalty, Howard Webb was the referee, and in front of the away end at Old Trafford, Robin van Persie had a great chance to equalise, but unfortunately his penalty was saved by David De Gea. So that was a great opportunity which could have actually changed the game completely, but anyway that didn't happen. And to make matters worse, almost immediately up the other end, Ashley Young cut in from the left hand side, curled a brilliant shot into the top corner of the net. That was a great goal actually, to be fair. That made it 2-0, and then 4 minutes before half time United scored again. It was a clever little free kick routine and Wayne Rooney curled the ball into the top corner of the net, so another great goal actually, made it 3-0. But it wasn't all too bad when in the stoppage time at the end of the first half we did actually pull a goal back. It was a decent goal actually, a nice little move. Thomas Rosicky put the ball through to Theo Walcott on the right hand side and he drilled a shot through De Gea's legs into the net to make it 3-1. So at half time, you know, you thought, okay, yeah, it's not been great, but we're still in with a shout. 3-1 down wasn't a total disaster. And then early in the second half, actually, we did have a couple of chances to pull another goal back. Van Persie and Arshavin both missed presentable chances, and had one of those gone in and made it 3-2. Again, you never know. But of course, this wasn't to be our day at all. It was soon 4-1. It was another free kick from Wayne Rooney, very similar to the one he scored in the first half, only this time he goaled it into the opposite corner. And that made it 4-1. And then almost straight after, Rooney put Nani in and he chipped the ball in to make it 5-1. I don't know where the defence were. They'd obviously disappeared at that particular time. By now, of course, the away fans, instead of turning on the team, which you might expect them to have done now, everybody just got behind the team, and for about 20 minutes it was just a constant chant of "We love you, Arsenal, we do," which was actually really great to see. Nobody was really bothered about the game anymore. Everyone was just getting behind the team, and it was great to see actually. You know, we were getting hammered, but the support was fantastic. It was 6-1 soon after. Park Ji-sung came on, actually replaced Nani, and as soon as he came on we kind of knew he was going to score. He always scored against us, didn't he? And it took him about a minute and a half, I think it was, and he drilled the ball into the corner to make it 6-1. We did score a second goal, actually. It was a decent goal. Carl Jenkinson got clear down the right hand side. His first cross was blocked. He headed it back across the penalty area, and Robin Van Persie smashed it into the roof of the net, which was a decent finish actually. Shame he hadn't managed to score his penalty, but that made it 6-2. There wasn't really any major goal celebrations in the away end. We just continued singing "We love you, Arsenal, we do," and just carried on with that really, which was nice. Soon after that, Jenkinson's sort of misery was complete. He got sent off, a second yellow card for a foul on Javi Hernandez. So that was his debut, and he got sent off there when it was 6-2. It was then 7-2 soon afterwards. It was a penalty from Wayne Rooney. Theo Walcott fouled Patrice Evra, and Wayne Rooney stuck the penalty away. And then in the final minute of the game, Ashley Young again came from the left hand side and curled another brilliant goal into the top corner to make it 8-2. And of course, you know, Arsenal took a lot of stick for that, didn't they? You know, quite rightly so. I mean, that's a hammering, isn't it? In fact, it was our heaviest ever top flight defeat, heaviest ever Premier League defeat, and the first time we'd conceded 8 goals in a league match since 1896. So, you know, we was there to witness a little bit of history, although it wasn't the sort of history that we would have wanted to have made. But of course, the aftermath of that saw Arsenal actually go into the transfer market on the transfer deadline day. If you remember, that was our busiest transfer deadline day that I think most of us can remember. I think we bought 4 or 5 players in, didn't we? Including Mikel Arteta was one of them, wasn't he? On that deadline day. Per Mertesacker as well to strengthen the defence came in. Andre Santos as well. I don't know quite why we bought him, but anyway, he came in as well. And I think we got Yossi Benayoun on loan as well, didn't we? So it was a busy transfer window. And actually, from that rock bottom almost, we actually turned it around that season, and we did actually finish third, behind Manchester United. Of course, that was the Aguero year. Of course, if you remember, Man City won the league on the last day, but we actually finished third that year, which was quite an amazing turnaround when you think that day at Old Trafford, looking at the state the team looked in, and how sort of defensively in particular. So to turn it around in a way that we did and to finish third was actually a really good achievement, and that sort of built, for me, that was the time when Arsene Wenger started to realise that things had to change, and he, of course, built the team that would go on to win the 2014 FA Cup and in the trophy drought. And I believe the start of that process was this game at Old Trafford, where we hit rock bottom quite literally. On that particular day, I say my memories of the game actually not really so much about the game. It was just more about the atmosphere in the away, and especially in the second half, it was outstanding. You know, one of the best away days for atmosphere actually that I can remember for a long time. And I say it's just interesting to think how maybe the fans nowadays would react to a similar result. I know we had a few big hammerings, didn't we? After that, there was the 6-0 at Chelsea, if you remember. We conceded 6 at Man City one year as well, but nothing would ever match that for me. Just really, it was a big moment in the history of the club. I think it was, in terms of the fact that we all realised, and Arsene Wenger realised, and the club realised as well, that things needed to change. And from that point on, I believe that they did change, they have changed, and now we find ourselves almost gone full circle, haven't we? So that's that video there, just really looking back on, I couldn't really let this day go without maybe mentioning this game, really, just because of how significant it was, I believe, in the recent history of the club, and of course as well, I mean, it remains the game I've been to with the most goals in 90 minutes. Of course, the only other game that had more goals in it that we've been involved in was the game at Reading in the League Cup, of course, that finished 7-5, but at the end of 90 minutes that was 4-4, and we've had a few 4-4s in 90 minutes, but we've never had 10 goals in 90 minutes that was, I've not been to. It's probably been a long time. Looking back in history, I think we won a game 7-3 once in the 1950s or so against Manchester City, I think it was, but obviously that was a little bit before my time. So 10 goals in one game, I suppose you got value for money. And of course, actually to make it even more value for money, Arsenal actually gave the away fans the ticket money back as well. So it definitely was good value for money for 10 goals. So unfortunately, there was too many in our net. Just actually on the game itself, just a few little statistics actually, which might surprise a few people. The possession, it was 56% to Manchester United, 44% to Arsenal. Shots, it was 25 to Manchester United and 20 to Arsenal. Shots on target, 14 Man United, 8 Arsenal. So we actually were one on corners, 5 corners to 3 we won that on. So in terms of the overall game, it wasn't actually the dominant Manchester United performance that maybe's been thought of. The game itself was probably a lot more even than the scoreline suggested. If you remember, of course, Ashley Young scored 2 great goals, Rooney scored 2 great free kicks. That's half the goals there were just unbelievable goals, really, that there was just no stopping. And of course, you know, we missed a penalty, we missed a few other chances. You know, in reality, the game could have maybe finished 5-4. But unfortunately it didn't, and it'll always go down in history, won't it? So that's it anyway today. I hope you enjoyed that, even if you maybe didn't enjoy the scoreline. And say if you're enjoying what I'm doing, please click on the subscribe button. Please like this video, and please you know, tell everybody else about it. It helps you share it around. I'm trying to grow the channel, trying to give a bit different Arsenal content to maybe what other people are doing. Just I feel there's enough room out there for everybody, so we just, you know, I'm just trying to do something a bit different as well. Obviously tomorrow's a community shield, so I'll be doing some more stuff on that. I'll be putting when the teams are out, I'll be going live with reaction to the teams and stuff like that. Probably doing some stuff at half time, maybe full time as well, go live with some stuff there, so look out for that. And don't forget as well, my live show booked in for Thursday the 3rd of September, this coming Thursday at 7 o'clock with a really special guest. I'll be releasing full details of that probably at the start of the week, so stay tuned for that. So look out for some more great content coming up over the next couple of weeks as we move into the start of the new Premier League season, where hopefully it's going to be a good season for us, isn't it? Let's hope so anyway. I'm certainly feeling optimistic at this moment in time, so let's hope that can remain for as long as possible. But that's it for today then. And saying in the meantime, of course, as always, we'll always finish the same way. Come on, you Gunners!